everyone! So I had such amazing feedback when everyone saw this amazing teacup and saucer project using our fantastic flower forming dies. So I thought what I would do is I would record a whole tutorial teaching you the 3 basic types of flower techniques that you would need to learn, and then show you how to assemble the whole cup and saucer project. So you can follow along and see how to do everything step by step. So if you're watching along today, you want to get all the stuff that we're using. Basically what I've done is put together a starter kit. So this is the starter kit that I had on at Craftaganza. What you need in your starter kit, you'll realise you need the actual foam itself to work with. Then we need the dies. So I've included the peony die, which is the main one we're going to be working with today, and also the lily, because that will give you 2 completely different shapes of flowers. You will also get the Petal Distress Tool, which I'll teach you how to use today. You'll also get the flower forming tools and the special sponge and all of the stamens that you need. Now, the 3rd type of flower I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to do a little bit of colouring first. So I'm going to colour it. I do like a bit of plum jam. So Sarah's been asking, it's not me, it's another Sara, what type of ink to use. Now the Harmony Water Reactive are absolutely the best time because you want a water-based ink. And I like to do, because I don't want to get too much on my fingers, I'm going to use a little sponge tool. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of the ink down onto my mat like this. And then I'm going to start with some of the largest ones, pick up the ink onto my tool, right? And then just little bits on the end. Now what you'll find absolutely amazing about this is that it's a completely, the colour will totally intensify as you heat up the ink, right? So as you heat up the flower. So can you see I've coloured the front and the back, and it's really important. I want you to colour each time the front and the back of the flower. What you find is, yes, you can make shortcuts and just colour one side, but you'll compromise the overall look of the flower. If you're putting this much time and effort into this flower making, you're going to get some pretty impressive flowers, trust me. It's worth, therefore, spending the time and getting it absolutely perfect, okay? Just clear a bit of space because you're going to don't expect to get this first time. This is going to take you a couple of practices to get the hang of this one. I'll show you one first of all, and then I'll take my time to slow it down. What we're going to do is we're going to heat the flower, and then we're going to ruffle the flower using our foam ruffling tool, right? So if I bring my iron in, and I'm going to try and keep it in here the whole time, right? So all we need to do, a little bit of heat, so that you change the properties of the foam so you can then work with it to shape it, right? So when I say a little bit, we're going on the iron, 1, 2, knock it off, right? 2 seconds is more than enough. Then we're going to fold it in half. So you fold petal to petal, right? We're going to fold those 2 petals on top of each other and the last petal into place. We've got all 5 petals on top of each other. Then what you're going to do is you're going to nip the ends together like this so that we've nipped it all together as one. We're going to take our ruffler, and can you see, when we go across the grain, you get this ruffling noise. If we go this way, you get nothing. You need to go across the grain, right? So we're now going to go across the grain on the edges of our flowers, right? And can you see I've literally ruffled all of those edges? You can see that perfectly there, right? Now, when we open it back out, what you then need to do is put the petal shape back into the flowers. So if I take my really large ball head, each one of these petals, I'm going to shape it around. Can you see just a little bit of friction from my finger just gives us that rounded shape back in the petal. So if I do half of them and then show you, I think it'll really stand out and show you the difference, right? So if I do 3 of them and just a little bit of friction on my finger, can you see I've got 3 beautifully rounded petals, and then I've got 2 that are a little bit ruffly still. Now they look all right ruffled, but I think they look even nicer when you smooth these out, right? So if we just heat that on, a couple of seconds is all you need, and then we're folding it over. So you're folding petal to petal, petal to petal, 2 lots of petals on top of each other in the base, one on the bottom. So you're just folding all 5 into the point. Then you're just going to nip them on the edges. Once you've got all 5 edges nipped, you're just going to rub on the end with that Petal Distress Tool. Can you see? Now this is the bit that I felt a lot of people really struggled with because they were trying to be too gentle. And you'll find is you go rough. At the end of the day, what's the worst that could happen is that you're potentially going to ruin one of your petals. And actually, if I just show you, I was a bit rough on this one and I tore the inside of the petal. We'll just put that one at the bottom. And that is honestly, I did tell you, we are live here. So any mistakes I make, you're going to see them up close and personal. There'll be no hiding from them. But I want you to see, it's just normal. It's just finding your feet and getting used to working with the flowers. I've got 1, 2, 3 large ones, 1, 2 small ones, 2 medium ones, and 1 small one, right? And you always work back to front. Now, I have misplaced that pocket again. Here it is. Look at this, I'm a terror, right? So watch what we're going to do here. We're going to pick up, starting from the smallest one here, what you'll love about these flowers. So if I just show you this compared to what it looked like when we started. I mean, look at the extreme difference between those two flowers, right? Look at the colour difference, nothing else, right? But also, can you see it's got this large area in the middle, which means that when you shrink it, you've still got a decent enough area to get your pokey tool in. So if I'm just working from that, I'm going to go into the middle with my pokey tool, right? So there's my small. Then I've got medium 1 and medium 2. And you can start and see, so that is a 3-petaled flower, right? It's not quite full enough. So if I then put it onto the back of 3 larger ones, 1, 2, and 3, all right? You can see how full that flower is looking, right? Now, there's somebody on Facebook is asking, will this technique work with any form? No, it's the form that's really special. So it's the form that we've developed. Now, there are other types of flower forming form out there that other companies have developed. And all I would say is we have had a professional team of flower makers do all of the product development and testing with us as we worked on the development of this form. And people who've tested this at a very professional level were blown away by the quality of the form versus other forms that have been out there for many, many years on the market. So what I would say is, if you've never tried our form, but you've tried this technique before, withhold judgment until you've tried the technique. Now that is a fabulous, that is my favourite one. It takes a little bit more doing, but you've got that one, you've got the bubble one, and you've also got the cup one, right?